That was a pretty cool conversation I just had. One of my Patreons called. Remember, at one point or another, I wanted to join the International Brotherhood of Electrical Line Workers, but instead I decided to go out and be a privateer and worked in the power line industry for a little portion of my adult life. And I remember them teaching us in line college that there was no such thing as a DC high voltage transmission line because AC was so much more efficient. Well, this Patreon and the arc of conversation that me and him just had with each other, he mentioned to where he lives in the Dalles, they've got a high voltage DC transmission line that goes from the Dalles down to LA. I was like, nah, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. And he goes, no, BBI, you need to go educate yourself. So through the power of the Googler, guess what? I was like, damn, look at that. There's 12 lines across the United States that run a high voltage DC. And I found myself a little paper, and I think that's probably what I'm going to put myself to sleep tonight, looking at and reading about. Gentlemen, what we have here today, what you and I are going to spend a small little portion of our lives talking about, thinking about, and absorbing here today is a Texas Star hot plate. Yep. He says it just quit working. I don't see any smoked 10 ohms. I don't see any burnt input or output transistor or combiners. I don't see any burnt bias resistors. Kind of a little sketchy transistor replacement on the keying circuit. Let's see, what did he say? This thing got really hot and then it quit working. Spoke to him day before yesterday, a couple projects ago. He said the fans wouldn't kick on and it got really, really, really hot, and then it fell way off in output power and then it quit working. Well, I want to put some power to it, and let's get into it real quick. Okay, let's take a quick dance around the gap here. It's a 1,000 watt slug in peak, 1,000 in average, 5 watt slug in reverse. Over here we got our spectrum analyzer set up from 0 all the way out to 200 megahertz. We're going to use our bench 2950. And then our 5 watt slug between the 2950 and the hot plate. So, hello, 1, 2. We can easily, we can easily talk through the amplifier with little to no drama. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. So, let's come back over here. We'll turn the amp on. Hello, 1, 2. We'll sit here and let it key for a couple minutes, or a minute or so. I got no heat at any of the combiners. None of the 10 ohmers are getting hot. I'll just leave this keyed here for a second. Sorry, set the mic down and I got too close to the amplifier. I'm just not seeing a problem. Everything's working as advertised. I mean, combiner and the splitters aren't even effed up. So, hello, 1, 2. I'm pulling about 40 amps over here. Let's go over here and look at the spectrum analyzer. Little tiny dirt. Out about 80 megahertz or so, but I mean, I mean, it's nothing to get too excited about. Radio principal, amp. So, it's good news for the customer. So I think we're going to do power wire upgrades. We're going to modify the fans so the fans are constantly on. As in, like, you turn the switch on, it turns the fans on. I'm just not seeing the failure point. Well, let's set this one aside and let's get amplified number 2 over here. So this is a Texas Star DX350. Somebody's been in here and played with the power wires, which is good because they're bigger than the stock wires, which means somebody was thinking. Let's look here. These are not right. They're too small. And that resistor and that resistor. I would believe that this is a stock resistor, but I would believe that that one has been replaced. Of course, if we pop a pill, we got to check that. And we just scoot this wire out of the way just a little bit. So it's a matched set of pills. We're looking at the lot number. Once again, let's hook it up and see what we got for results, because visual inspection is not really making anything jump up and down. Oh, Oakley, lick 'em, stick 'em. Let's see here. Power switch works. The preamp light works. The dial-a-homo watt works. All right, the noise generator is in functioning order. Okay, so nothing's changed. We're still at 12 volts. All of our units of measure have stayed the same, so. All right, talk through it, no problem. Hello, oh, hello. We got a dead one! Yay, something other than power wire upgrades. Yay, all right. Look, you guys, this game is nothing but a game of, like, playing dice. Oh, snake eyes. Oh, I got something to work on today, so. Let's see, what do we got? Let's go see what the FLIR tells us. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh. Hello. Both 10 ohms are getting hot. The bias resistor is getting hot, and neither one of the transistors are flaring. Oh, buckwheat. Yeah. That's something we can sink our teeth into here. Let's get out the old voltmeter. And we are not making any bias measurements. We're seeing how much voltage is present on the input transformer. There should be nothing. Full volt. There should be nothing here until I key, and then it should only come up to about 380, maybe 400 mils. So that is voltage that is leaking through one of these transistors is blown. I bet you $1 and a donut and a donut hole, a powdered donut hole, because, well, they're better in every single way, including taste, flavor, texture, and everything else. I bet you $1 to a donut that when we pull these transistors out, they're both fried. So let's do just that. What do you think? My wife is all into horses, and my daughter just bought herself her own horse with it's supposed to be a 1.8 ohm resistor. It's 2, so that's not correct. My daughter just bought herself her very first horse with her own money, which I'm really proud of, and it's a really, really nice horse. Anywho, they all went horse camping this last weekend. I stayed home and worked, and they took our. So it's a little low, but not too bad. So these are our two 10 ohmers and our 1.8 ohmer. Let's see, she should be 50s, I think. Close enough. Just sitting here testing resistors before we go and test the transistors. Anyhow, I bought them this big, like 8-person or 10-person Coleman Insta-tent thing for them to be able to use when they go horse camping. Sleeping on the ground's not my thing. It's not. I'm too old, too fat, and I don't care anymore. I like going camping just in a motorhome, you know what I mean? So they set that tent up this weekend, even though they ended up renting a yurt. It was a bunch of ladies, all horse riding ladies that went to go camping this weekend. So we got the tent set up out there, letting it dry off because there was a lot of rain this weekend. And yeah, that transistor's a hardcore diode short, which we knew that going in. Anyhow, I was talking with my wife. We were laughing about how nothing ever goes back in the bag, you know. This tent showed up and it's this perfect little hard-packed square. Kind of looked like an Easy Up kind of bag, right? Square bag. Well, when they came back from camping, it was round. It was, you know, you start to think about it. Anything you got in the bag, when you get it from Factoria, seems like nothing ever goes back in the, or goes back in the bag, right? You know what I mean? So, you know, the air's all sucked out and they've got it all folded up perfectly. It's like a sleeping bag, dude. You get the sleeping bag. It's this little tiny bag they expect you to get it stuffed down into, and yeah, it was humorous. This has got a gain of 42, even though it's a 70 on it. There is a little bit of truth to the rumor, by the way, that if you use a higher amperage tester than these, the HFE gain does increase. 42. I'm not too overly concerned about the HFE gain until we get down below 9 on this tester. 8 or 9 is kind of like the gray zone in the universe. All I really care about is that the components have the same HFE gain so they don't tear each other up as they're balancing out when you first key the amplifier. So this gets us close enough. I mean, I've shown on video many times. I got a transistor tester over here that allows us to put up to 150 amps on the transistor. Like, I could physically make the lid of this transistor depart the room and fly out the door on the other side of the building here, if I wanted to. But that little Atlas is close enough. And I always get a kick out of these guys on Facebook. They'll show up, man, you know that tester's not accurate all that much. It's there's just not enough current available. And I say, bullshit. That little Atlas tester is perfect for what we're using it for. All we got to do is make sure the components are matched. We don't have to be overly concerned with how high the actual overall beta gain is. It's just, I mean, you want to go down that rabbit hole? Cool. Here's some white powder. Go meet Alice at the bottom of the hole. At the end of the day, man, I should have pointed that out on camera. I don't even think that there was any thermal paste underneath this transistor. That whole heatsink was dry. There's paste on that one. That one was dry. That was the one with the changed out 10 ohm resistor underneath it, by the way. We can go down that rabbit hole. At the end of the day, all we need to know to be able to fix the amplifier is that the parts that we're marrying together to be push-pull configuration are in balance with each other, right? So is that absolute HFE beta gain the end of the conversation? No. It's at the other end of the conversation. The not relevant to actually making it work again conversation. For the most part. Just saying. Okay. Let's get some, make BBI's fingers turn white compound here. Let's give ourselves a serving spatula. Now this was about full up to this ring line here when I first got this about a year ago. Well, I'm here to tell you a little bit of this stuff goes a long effing ways. If you're laying down so much thermal compound that it's squeaking out around the edge of the transistors, you put down too much. You'll reach a point with a thermal compound where it starts to act like a thermal resistor. It won't. Thin layer. Thin layer is what we're looking for. Thin layer. Okay. Yay! Are we having fun yet? I know I'm bored. And if I'm bored, that usually means that you guys are bored. Once, they were the most valuable transistor on Earth. And due to lack of production and one tsunami, they are now the most valuable transistors in the world, but they're not worth using anymore. All right, finger extensions, come here. Do do do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I said, get down in the hole. All right. Wheel. Let's solder them in. Let's replace the 10 ohmers, and I'm done wasting your guys' time by not saying anything. We'll be right back. Okay, 2 new transistors, 2 new 10 ohm resistors, 1 new 1.8 ohm resistor, new power wires. Actually put a Grommet in it. Put a plug in the TX auxiliary, which I've never seen one of those hooked up, by the way, or a fan plug. Never seen one of those hooked up. Let's see. Upgraded the preamp. Totally farted around with the input tune for a hot minute, and this is what we got. Okay, so 1000 watt slug here, and peak position 1000 average 5 watt slug in reverse. Of course, our 5 watt slug in reverse here, so that I don't have to jerk the camera around anymore. We're going to test this first. Let's amp is off. Hello, hello, hello. So almost nothing is a pass-through tune, which is good. Noisemaker is working. That's really all a preamp is on one of these things. Okay. Hello, 1, 2. Yes, we are on 15 volts. Hello, 1, 2. 28 watts worth of drive. Turn that down, we don't need to be listening to that. That'll give me a headache, and then I won't want to work on this stuff today. Okay, amp on. Here, hold on, let me back up. Let me take this 5 watt element, we're going to turn it around. We're going to put a 1.5 watt carrier into it. So, reading the middle scale, 1.5 watts. 1.5 watt dead key going in. Gets us about 100 watts coming out, about 90. Hello. Making about 440 watts, which is just about right. Hello. Oh, there's one more thing I want to add. Shoot. Getting ahead of myself. I got one more thing I got to add. I forgot to add the upgraded choke for the power wire. Okay, so where we were at was about 430-ish watts, if I remember correct. Hello. Hello. It helps just a hair. Helps everything run a little cooler. So we're seeing 430. Hello. See about 445. Just a hair under 450. Let's go over here and let's look at this. Amp off. That's the principal. Amplifier on. Hello, 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 hello. Very clean. Clean as a whistle. Which is good. That means he's not going to be bothering anybody anywhere, and he's not going to have any SWR issues. Hello. Okay. This little guy is upgraded to its max. Now I'm running late in the afternoon. I got a bunch of shipping things I got to go do. So that means I got to take a hot break from this for a second. Just a hot second. But first, oh wait, there's more. Oh shit, let's go over here. I had to call my vinyl guy. I'm like, man, 911, 911. He's like, what? I said, dude, I need little stickers. I don't have any more of them. He's like, oh, I get you hooked up. So. All right. This bad mamma jamma's done. Just take a break from being here on a workbench for a hot minute. Shut that down. I'm gonna get the tin put on the rest of the way, and then my ass has got to get shipped out of here for the day. So I'll be back. I'll work on this evening, and we'll get this lined out. Well, so here we are. Run the 1200 hot plate now. This keying transistor sits just like so. And I went to unsolder it because after talking with the customer, he explained to me that he replaced this keying transistor and it went to working, and then within a couple weeks it went to just acting up again and not keying up for him. So I said, okay, it's probably that the keying transistor isn't soldered in all the way. So I went ahead and I pulled it, and as I was pulling it, I lifted this leg here, and the transistor just went bing, and it was hanging by one leg. So the center pin of the transistor here, the center one, was just barely making contact, and that's where our intermittent keying issue is coming from, I'm fairly certain. Of course, we're going to go ahead and go through all the paces, do all the power wire upgrades to it. We're going to put an Anderson clip on it for him, that kind of stuff. Bigger power wire, all that. And then we'll beat the snot out of it, and we'll see if we can get the keying circuit to act up for us. So, needless to say, I took some solder wick, a little bit of time with a soldering iron, cleaned all the holes out. That way we make sure there was nothing shoved through, nothing hanging through. I mean, it's real common what these guys will do is they'll cut the keying transistor and then they'll solder to the legs of the old keying transistor. Well, the legs will slip through and they'll touch the cabinet intermittently, like just every once in a while, and the box won't key up properly. But that's not the case. This guy did it right. He pulled the transistor. He just didn't quite get it soldered in properly. So let's go ahead. Let's redo that, and then we're just going to go ahead and we'll do all the other stuff to it that we normally do. Upgrades are coming. Well, it looks like a reverse octopus now, man. Here to tell you what. So she's fully loaded, decked out, got every upgrade twitch and module done to it that we could possibly do. We did a fuse delete on the back. Massive power wire upgrade. I know that Texas Star like to put the Anderson clip on there, but then they use this tiny little pencil wire that Anyhow, let's go over here. That's our radio. That's our amplifier. And that little trash harmonic is indicative of all Texas stars. And it's 40 something dBs down, so we're gonna call this a win. Let's see here, what do we got going on for dead key? Got about 100 watts out there. Oh no, this is let's see here. That was in 2x. My bad. Here. So about 100 watts. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 500 bird. And put that up in 2x. So those of us that know how to count, that's not me obviously, but that hash mark there between the 40 and the 60, that big one there, that's our 1000, 12, 14, 16. See where we end up. Hello. Making 1400 pretty solid out of a Texas Star 1200 hot plate. And what we're driving it with is this little derail. Hello, 111. Hello, 111. Input tune is gorgeous. Let's see, can we talk through it pretty easy? Amps off now. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good, the pass-through tune's perfect. Hello, 1, 2. Putting about 125 watts worth of drive into it. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Hello. Remember, 2290s, boys and girls. Hello. About 80 amps worth of draw. Uh-oh. Okay, so it's not all worked out. Let's look at this. And then in the corner of our eye, let's keep an eye on this. Give ourselves a little bit of a dead key here. I'm off the key. There, it just unlatched. Unlatches. Well, we know what the problem is. It's the Texas Star solder ball. It's time to go dig in that relay. It's staying latched. There's got to be a little ball of schmutz or something in here that's keeping the relay kind of latched up. So we have seen this before and before and before. So that's a bummer. Well, I'm going to need my X-Acto. Let's get in here and get digging. It just takes the smallest amount of little shit. Yeah, like I'm saying, I think we got it. That one little ball of, you know what, hold on. Hold on. Hold up. Yeah. Whatever it was, we cleaned it off. I found that it's either a little tiny solder ball or a little ball of something gets on the contact. It'll just stay partially lodged on there, and that effing relay will just stay locked up. And eventually the bias will cook the whole box off because the bias stays engaged. Done. Sideband delay is working. Hello. Let's run our voltage up here on the power supply. 14 volts, no problem. 15 volts. Yeah, you got it. Okay. On a side note, I'm going to put the lids on it now. We don't ever unplug or plug our fans in from this point forward in our life with the power switch on or it plugged in. This is now a permanent change. This is non-reversible. Just don't do it. You'll regret it. So, we'll slap a screw in here. Turn up on its side. Oh, hey Noah, come here. Okay. I think I'm down to one more Texas Star 1200 in the shop, and I think I could be wrong, but I think I might be done with Texas Star for a hot New York minute. Oh, I might have a little 250 or 350 left, but damn, for the most part, I think I got the Texas Star phenomenon kind of covered over here. Which I'm here to tell you has been a long hoe road to climb the last 2 years. I'm getting excited because I'm really starting to see the end of the pile of equipment. And I've started telling people that I might take work in September of this year. And what I mean by that is maybe in September, if you call me, I will say yes to whatever the project is that you're calling me about, and then I'm going to give you a number. And we're going to go number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And I'm probably going to take on about 200 repairs, and that's it. I will never work myself into the position that I have been in for the last 2 years of my life ever again. I'm going to be very, 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 very much more in control of this situation. The chaos that happened last time and how I haven't had any room to move in here or really clean or anything. Never gonna go through that again. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What amazes me is that we'll put all of those Toshibas in this exact same cabinet. I mean, there might be some transformer changes and some capacitance changes, but we'll pull the 2290s out and we'll put 2879s in their spot, and it picks up 200 watts. Here, microphone. I mean, 200 watts, man. That's silly. Or we all know a really good, decent, like 8 pill is another 500-600 watts more than this. So I don't know. It's just the way they did things back in the day. Well, gentlemen, this is the end of this story. I'm going to call my customer tomorrow and let him know his dreams of having a BBI 350 and a BBI 1200 hot plate are, well, now a reality. And at the end of the day, everybody's happy. DoBox is back into the world working. More customers taken care of. Things are good. Things are getting better. One sweet little, let's get rid of this zip tie, amplifier at a time. Guys, I want to thank you all for following along. I want to thank everybody for participating on the Patreon channel, participating in the Facebook group BBI Amps, which is arguably one of the larger radio forums on the internet. It is not, there's no bullshit tolerated. You come in there, you have fun, you hang out, we make jokes, but the instant you start talking trash or picking on somebody else's grass and gone, we just don't tolerate it. I'm grateful for my admins, so you might want to come check that out. And if you've ever learned anything from this channel or you enjoy what I do, take a minute. Let's come over here to patreon.com. Come subscribe. It's $1. It's $1. And you get 48-hour early access to everything I'm doing here. Plus usually about 3 or 4 behind the scene posts a week. So on that note, I want to say thanks to Siglent, thanks to Bird, thanks to Coaxial Dynamics. Shout out to MechMan. Gentlemen, I am BBI. You got a question or anything I can do to help you, don't hesitate to give me a call. And we'll see you. Click, click.